Yo, what up guys, this is your boy Legendary here, and today people we're going to be doing Zark's deck from Arc 5. Before I get started, I just want to let you know I'm building his evil deck. As you guys can see in the thumbnail, it's Zark with all the Supreme King stuff, all the evil stuff. So in the future, the next deck profile that goes up after this one, a few days from now, will be Zark's deck when he was good, before he turned evil and got all corrupt. And I'm going to be just doing a good version of his deck. But just so you guys know, this deck was very difficult to make. He doesn't have a lot of monsters really. He just has the Supreme King Dark Dragon monsters, the Darkwurm monsters. He obviously has Supreme King Odd Eyes, and he also has Supreme King cards basically. There's only like 3-4 cards in there. So basically what I did was I kind of finished it off in the sense of I looked at Zark's deck in the past, and he ran cards like Stargazer Magician and Timegazer Magician, and he also had Astrograph Sorcerer and stuff like that. So basically the way that I kind of finished off the deck, I was like, alright, so it looks like he ran a Pendulum Magician deck, pure Pendulum Magician, no Entermates or any of the other stuff that the other U-Boys ran. It seems like for the most part he only ran Pendulum Magicians. Obviously they used to be effect monsters, and then he created Pendulum Summoning and they all turned into Pendulum monsters through his power. But either way, he ran Pendulum Magicians. So yeah, let's just get started, and I'll show you guys what it looks like now. So we're going to start off with the main deck. We have kind of like his main deck boss monster, Astrograph Sorcerer. This card is really strong, really busted. It makes summoning Zark, Supreme King Dragon Zark, really easy. So this card just makes it absolutely easy. Then we have a Chronograph Sorcerer. This is just the other dark version of that. It completes the scale and whatnot. This also has an effect that makes it, I think, easier to summon Zark Dragon. I haven't used this deck either. I haven't tested it out, but I just built it and I was like, I like the way this looks. Then we got Supreme King Dragon Odd Eyes. The other Supreme King Dragon monsters are in the extra deck because they're, extra deck monsters. Then we got 3 copies of Supreme King Dragon Darkwurm. These 2 are printouts. I thought I had more copies, but I didn't. But yeah, so 3 copies of him. He had 2 in the show, so I assume he has at least 1 more. But so yeah, 3. Alright, then we got Supreme King Gate Infinity and Zero. I'm using their anime effects. So these are the printouts of their anime effects. I like them a lot better because it doesn't revolve specifically around Supreme King Zark. So that way it just makes it easier. We obviously have Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, which you need to banish in order to summon Zark, because it's a Pendulum Dragon monster. So that's Odd Eyes right there. Then I picked the Magicians from I think it's the Pendulum Evolution set, that structure deck that came out in Japan, and it came out here as a pack or whatever. So we got Double Iris Magician, White Wing Magician, Black Fang Magician, and Purple Poison Magician. Obviously he didn't use these in the anime, but these cards were specifically created, as you can tell, to summon Zark, because they all have effects where this one's treated as a Pendulum Dragon monster, this one's treated as a Synchro Dragon, this one's treated as a Xyz Dragon, and this one's treated as a Fusion Dragon. So basically, instead of banishing the original 4, you could also just banish these 4 and then summon Zark as well. So these cards were created specifically for him. They all have really good effects. I'm not going to get into it because it's just a lot of cards that I would have to read through right now. But yeah, add these cards because these cards were specifically created for Zark itself. So definitely add them. And then on top of that, I didn't add any Performer Pals in this deck, any of them, because I wanted it to be just Pendulum Magicians. I only added 1 Performer Pal monster, and that was Entermate's Heavenly Magician. I forgot what the TCG name is. I used the OCG name because I printed this card out a while back. But yeah, so Heavenly Magician, I added this card only because 1, obviously it is Zark on the picture right there, that's him, and on top of that his effect is perfect because it actually works with the deck perfectly, because it has effects that work with Synchro, Xyz, Fusion, and Pendulum monsters, so his effect actually works with this deck very well, so I decided to add him. Then we have Timegazer and Stargazer Magician. We have Creation and Destruction Magician. These are the Japanese names of it, the original names. I think it's called Shangzang Magician, and I don't know how to say the other ones, but those 2 magicians, you guys should know what they look like. I'm sorry for saying too much here, but it's just a lot. And then we got Timebreaker Magician. I pretty much just added all the, like I said, Pendulum Magicians that Yuki used and some of the ones that he didn't use and just put them in Zark's deck. We got Wisdom Eye Magician, we got Dharma Eye Magician, and we got Dragon Caller Magician. So yeah, I literally just stuffed it with all the Pendulum Magicians that Yuki used, some of the stuff from the Structure deck that was made to support specifically Supreme King Zarc, and yeah, and that's pretty much it, just all that stuff. So that's Zark's main deck monsters right there. Alright, next up we got the spell cards. So we have Star Pendulum Graph, which also came from the same structure deck as the support for the Zarc cards, I believe. Yeah, the same exact set, Pendulum Evolution. It prevents your spellcaster monsters from being targeted by spell effects, and this allows you to also add Magician Pendulum monsters from your deck to your hand. So really good, helps you search and it protects them from targeting. We got Amazing Pendulum, we got Pendulum Storm. I pretty much just added a bunch of generic Pendulum support cards. No performer, pal spells, or traps because there are none in this deck except for one. So I just added only the generic Pendulum support that Yuya used. We got Duelist Alliance as well, really good card. We got Spiral Flame Strike, obviously Odd Eyes is still in the deck, so you could use this to search out Odd Eyes or activate its second effect. We got Soul Pendulum. This allows you to perform 2 Pendulum summons a turn, so definitely give that a shot. We got some anime cards here. Okay, so there was a error on this card. This is not the actual effect here. This is actually the effect of a trap card that he has. So I'm going to read the real effect off of my phone for you guys. It's an equipped spell card. It's called Supreme King's Violent Spirit, or Supreme Presence is the new name. Oh, okay. So basically, you equip this to a Supreme King monster. So let's say you use the effect of a Supreme King Dark Rebellion, I think he cuts everything in half. You target one monster and cut its attack to 0 in half. I don't remember what it does. But let's say, for example, you use Dark Rebellion and you cut the monster's attack in half. Instead of targeting one monster, this makes it so it affects all monsters. So it just makes it so it makes it from one target to every monster. And that's pretty much it. But that was the technical error, so sorry about that, guys. Then we got the equipped spell Supreme King Wing. Equipped only to a dragon type monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, so any of the dimension dragons, any of the dragons at all that you have here. This card and the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. Once per battle phase during either player's turn, if the equipped monster destroys an opponent monster by battle, you can inflict damage equal to its attack. If the equipped monster is destroyed by battle, you can destroy the monster that destroyed it. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the destroyed monster had on the field. You cannot normal or special summon monsters. So yeah, basically it's just a huge burn card, and it protects your dragon from being destroyed by card effects. We got Pendulum Card Burst, one of Yuya's cards. You destroy 2 Pendulum monsters you control to draw 2 cards. Simple, straightforward. We got Catastrophe Draw. Destroy all monsters you control and draw 2 cards. Pretty straightforward. I just wanted to add some draw cards in there to make the deck a little bit more consistent. Then for the trap cards, we got Time Pendulum Graph. So this makes it so they're protected from being targeted by trap effects. So this allows you to pop one of your Pendulum Magicians and then pop one of your opponent's cards as well. So pretty good. And then we got Supreme King Rage. This card is really, really strong because it basically, once you summon the dragon, Supreme King Zarc, which is really easy to summon, you activate this card and special summon all the other Supreme King Dragon monsters from your extra deck. It's from the hand, graveyard, or extra deck, or deck, I believe, too. So it's really busted. It just summons everything, and it gives the Dark Rebellion Supreme King one its materials as well. So, whew, really strong. Then we have Supreme King Brutality. If you control Supreme King monster, look at your opponent's hand and send cards from their hand to the graveyard up to the number of other Supreme King cards you control, and if you do, inflict 300 to your opponent for each card sent to the graveyard. Okay, so next up we got the continuous trap card, Supreme King Dance. This is an anime card. Once per turn during your opponent's battle phase, if you control a Supreme King monster, you can target one monster your opponent controls. That target must attack this turn if able. If it has attacked this turn, it must attack again if able. Once per turn, if a Supreme King monster you control battles during damage calculation, or when a card or effect is activated that will destroy Supreme King cards you control, that Supreme King card or cards cannot be destroyed by battle or effect. During your opponent's battle phase, you can send this face-up card to the graveyard. All monsters your opponent controls that did not attack this turn must attack if able. if they do, this card's controller chooses the attack target for the attacks. Okay, so it basically forces your opponent's monsters to attack into your Supreme King monsters, and then also protects your Supreme King monsters from being destroyed by battle or effects. So it's a defensive card, and it kind of just forces your opponent to go into you and kill themselves. Then we got Pendulum Dimension. This is one of the new support cards that came out from the Duelist pack. I added it because it does work with this deck very well, because it has an effect that does with Fusion, Synchro, Pendulum, and Xyz. So you could try it out. It probably might be better in this deck than in Yuya's deck. I'm not sure, but I thought it was a good addition, so I added that. We have Pendulum Switch. We have Breakaway, Yuya Trap card, and then we have Divided Wall, another Yuya Trap card. I just added whatever Yuya traps or spells I felt would help Zark's deck a bit with aggression and power. This negates stuff, and this drains the power of your opponent's monsters by quite a lot. So, yeah, that's pretty much the main deck. It's very simple. It's just summon Zark and kind of overpower your opponent and force them to attack you, do a bunch of burn damage, and they just can't get over a huge wall. Next, for the extra deck, we got Supreme King Dragon Zarc. So yeah, that's the main guy right there. Then you have the 3 Supreme King monsters: Supreme King Dragon, Dark Rebellion, Starving Venom, and Clearwing. All very strong cards, very powerful. Put these up there. Then we have the originals. We have Dark Rebellion, Xyz Dragon, Venom Fusion Dragon, and Synchro Dragon. You could easily summon them in this deck too, although I'm only going to be summoning these because these are the Supreme King ones. These are just going to be banished anyway in order to summon Supreme King Dragon Zarc, so you're probably not even going to use them because of this, but you still can, obviously. So yeah, right there. Then I added these cards in there too because technically you are able to summon it in this deck with all the Pendulum Magicians that you have. I have Odd Eyes Raging Dragon and Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon. They could be summoned in this deck. And Odd Eyes Winged Dragon and Odd Eyes Venom Dragon can also be summoned in this deck. So you could try those out if you want. And then we have Time Star Magician. This also came out from the Pendulum Evolution set, I believe. This is a pretty cool card. This allows you to basically add a Dark Pendulum Magician monster from your hand deck from your extra deck, graveyard, or deck, and add it to your hand, pretty much. And it also has Inherent Protection. If a Pendulum monster in the monster zone or Pendulum zone will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you could send 1 spellcaster type monster from your deck to your grave. Obviously, the majority of the deck is all spellcasters, so you could keep doing that. I don't think this is once per turn. Oh yeah, that is once per turn. So once per turn, you could protect one of your Pendulums from being destroyed. And that's it. And then the final card, I only added Rune Eyes Pendulum Dragon because it could be fused with 1 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon plus 1 Spellcaster. The whole deck is pretty much Spellcaster. So you can't summon Beast Eyes or Brave Eyes because one is with a Warrior, the other one is with a Beast. This is the only one that's with a Spellcaster, so you can actually use it in this deck. But yeah, so that's the extra deck. Very simple, straightforward. Just a bunch of power, just taking over your opponent like crazy. I didn't add a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and I didn't add Starving Venom because I felt like those cards, I'm going to use that in the next deck when I build Zark's good deck. But you're mostly only going to be summoning Zarc plus these 3 all the time. These 3 will end up getting banished to summon Zarc, and then sometimes you might be able to go into these guys, so it depends. But you could add Crystal Wing if you want in there, and Starving and Greedy Venom. You could add whatever you want in there. I just didn't add it for this build because I didn't feel like it. Alright, for the side deck, it's going to be short and simple. There's a bunch of anime cards in here, but I'm not going to read them because they're cards I've already reviewed in past deck profiles. And all these cards, if you want to read what they do and if you want to print them out for yourself, just look in the description and you could print out all the anime cards that you guys will see here. So yeah, 2 cards, Acrobat Magician and Harmonizing Magician. There are other Pendulum Magician monsters that I couldn't fit in there, but they're both really good. You could add this in the main deck. If I didn't add it because I just didn't feel like adding it. So don't ask me why I didn't add it. I just didn't add it. But I did add it in the next deck profile, but in the main deck. But yeah, this is in the side deck, so just take it in if you want to take it in. Then we got Magical Thunder, an anime card. We got Gap Power. We have Scale Up. We have Pendulum Illusion. We have Odd Eyes Axel. That will be in the next deck profile. You'll see why. We got Starlight Force. We got Misdirection Wing. We got Twin Big Shield. We got Cross Damage. Well, you already saw Breakaway. That was a printout. And then we got Dangerous Draw. That's the side deck. Very simple, very straightforward. You guys could just, like I said, read the anime cards in the description and then print them out for yourself. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck right there. That's the Supreme King Dragon ZARK deck. Very strong deck, very aggressive for a villain deck. It's actually very strong. There aren't that many strong villains because a lot of decks aren't very complete. But ZARK has enough support, and I was able to kind of fill it up with Pendulum Magicians because that's pretty much what he runs. So I kind of just filled it up with Pendulum Magicians to make it work. But yeah, it's a very strong deck. It's all about summoning the fusion ZARK, and he's very hard to get rid of off the field, and he has protection and stuff, so he can be quite annoying. He's definitely one of the better villains. Him and Marik is one of the good ones, and was one of the other good ones. Yubel is another great one. She'll come in the future, but this is one of the better villains. Very aggressive, very hard to get over. ZARK is a strong villain. He wasn't a very good villain in the show in terms of, like, nobody really liked him. But his deck was good. It was strong. You got to give him at least that much, which I do. But yeah, so that's the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for everything. See you guys in the next video. Gotcha!